One last thing on footwear, and that is primary versus secondary footwear. What I've been talking about so far is basically your primary footwear, the shoe, the boot, or the sandal that you're going to walk your Camino in. But you're probably going to want something as a backup. Worst case scenario, you blow out a shoe, you're going to need something else to walk in, at least for that day until you get into town and can buy something else. But more than likely, you're just going to want to switch it up once in a while. At least when you get to town, whatever you've been walking in all day, you're probably going to be done with that footwear, want to take it off, get the feet out, and let them air out. And that's why a lot of people bring flip-flops or sandals or something as a backup so that when they're in town, they can leave the hot, heavy shoes and boots in the albergue and they can walk around, let the feet breathe a little bit. I have also heard of people who switched their primary and secondary footwear because they realized that they are actually doing just fine in a sandal. And, you know, no protection whatsoever, but guess what? No heat and no blisters either. In fact, I know someone that did almost the entire Camino in a pair of sandals and wool socks. So, although these might be heavier than just a lightweight pair of flip-flops, you might be able to actually do part of your Camino in something like this, whereas flip-flops, probably not. They're probably only going to be good when you're just kind of hanging out at the albergue or walking around town. All right, so those are the general considerations you want to look at when picking your footwear. Do you want to go with a heavier, hotter, but more protective hiking boot? Do you want to go with a less protective, but cooler and lightweight shoe? Or possibly go all the way to the other end of the spectrum and just go for a pair of sandals. Now, one example that I do not have here is what is known as a hiking shoe. It's basically something in between a shoe and a boot. So imagine if you really liked everything about a hiking boot, you just didn't want the extra material because you wanted to drop weight and maybe decrease the heat retention a little bit. If you cut off the top of this, it becomes a hiking shoe. It's essentially a low-cut hiking boot. So you still get the heavy materials, you still get the good protection, you still get the big gnarly soles, you just don't have material going up your ankle. Now, when I was first getting ready for the Camino and I was trying out gear, I bought a pair of shoes like that. And to be perfectly honest, I was not impressed. It just felt like a compromise. And rather than feeling like I was getting a combination of the best elements of both models, I felt like it was kind of the worst of both worlds. The shoes were still very heavy. And while that might be helpful if you stub your toe or something, it's not helpful for an ankle roll. They're still very hot, so you're not really gaining a lot for heat. You're not really gaining a lot for weight. And now you've got this big heavy shoe that is not really doing the job that a slightly heavier, slightly warmer boot would do for you. So I don't personally recommend those. I did not find them useful for me. I took them back. So what am I bringing on my Camino? My plan as of right now, and this may change, is to bring the RSM, Rain, Snow, Mud, waterproof version of the Ultra Lone Peaks and the Teva XLT hiking sandals. So I will be making a separate video gear review of these shoes. You can check that out if you're interested. The most important thing here is to hike your own hike. This is your Camino. Whatever shoes you pick, you're going to be the one wearing them. Whatever pack you pick, you're going to be the one carrying it. Whatever gear you bring, no one's carrying it for you. It's all you. Own it. Hike your own hike. Don't worry about what other people are doing. I've given you some general considerations here. I hope they have been helpful. If you like this video, give it a like, subscribe to the channel, and click the bell so you can get notifications of future videos, and buen Camino.